Alien Invasion Part 2, which is a bootleg of Space Invaders. So I've just recently restored this for a friend of a friend. I'm not really too sure of its history. As far as I know, it's been sat in someone's house for about 10 plus years as a dead unit and has then changed hands to somebody, and they've passed it on to me to try to get it back to life. And as you can see, it is back to life. So I'm just going to do this video mainly for the person it's going to end up with, so they've got an idea of what I have done. So primarily the main thing that was wrong with it is the original power supply in it was dead. There's a burnt out capacitor on there and it was just causing the fuse to pop. It's tantalum cap in there. This particular variant of the power supply is a bit rare to get information on. It's this version, which ends in 5.1, and the 4.1 seems to be the more popular one. The burnt out cap is here. I have ended up with a schematic for it. I did get a schematic off somebody for it. But I've opted to put in a switching power supply because at the end of the day I could replace that cap, probably replace all the other caps, but really unless I'm going to do a full sort of like service of this power supply, I'm always going to run the risk that this could go faulty again and send some higher voltages down the line and pop the board in there. And since everything's a full board working board set, I don't want to do that. So what have I done? If I open it up, just lock it down there. So I have put a switching power supply in there. It's like a new black one in there, and wired it in via a terminal block in there, and providing the sort of like standard 5, -5 and 12 volts to the board set. And I have secured it down. I haven't drilled any extra holes in here. There was a piece of wood in there that I've managed to secure the switching power supply to. It's an original Taito Space Invaders board set in here. So there's 3 boards. There's a CPU board on the board on the top. The middle board, I'm not actually too sure what that is. I don't know if it's a sound board or an extension to the CPU board. And then there's the bottom board, which is the ROM board set. And they were all loose in there. They were loose in the cradle. I've sorted all of them out, so sitting in the cradle nice and evenly. The bottom board ROM set, the bottom board with the ROMs in, obviously it's not the original Space Invaders ROMs. There's 4 or 5 ROMs in the bottom there, and they've obviously been replaced at some point in the past with, there you go, Alien Invasion Part 2, which I don't know how common this bootleg is. Hi Chloe. But yeah, if at any point in time the original owner wants to, or the new owner wants to make this back into Space Invaders, they can replace those ROMs at the bottom there, put Space Invaders ROMs in, and you will have Space Invaders. But I think just enjoy for what it is at the moment, which is Alien Invasion Part 2, which I think probably has a few extra sort of like tweaks upon what the original Space Invaders has. Just to walk through for the new owner, there's a various volume pots on here. The bottom one here I believe is the master volume, and each of these other pots alter volumes for various different things, like the flying saucer, the sort of like the Space Invader thud, the fire, the crash and what have you. So you can alter the volumes for each one of them, and I'll do a print off so you know which ones are which. There is a version on there, but it's in Japanese. The bottom one, as I say, is just the master volume, which alters the whole volume itself. What I have done is I have put a credit switch in here as well. It is missing sort of like the coin door kind of mechanism. The coin switch didn't seem to work anyway, even when I fed in some old-fashioned 10 pences. But I have put a credit switch in here. Now I haven't drilled the credit switch in because I don't want to affect the aesthetics of the original machine, so it's just coming popping through the sort of like the coin reject there on some wires, which I think is good enough. If the owner does want to eventually drill something in, I've just attached it there with a terminal block, so they can easily sort of like unscrew it, drill if they so desire, and drill that in. It's very clean inside, exceptionally clean. It's obviously a black and white monitor that's in there with obviously the colour overlays, which work quite effectively. That's pretty much for what I've done on the inside. Just close that up. Just to talk through the credits. A little bit of light glare there. Press the button once, it'll give it half a credit, indicated by that dot. Press it again, and you get a full credit. Another half, another full, so on and so forth. So you can pop credits on the machine without popping coins in. And of course, you've got your 1 and 2 player start here. Very similar for all cocktail tables. If you do 2 player, player 1 will start, and when you die, the screen will do a flip, and then the joystick on the other side becomes operational, and then when they die, it flips back to this one. And I have tested that. Just put 1 credit. Well, no, let's go for 2 credits. So that's a 2 player. Player 1, get ready. Got the sound effects. We got right, we got left, we got fire, and let's die. So because it's on 2 player, the screen should flip, and there's player 2 ready. One nice little thing I've noticed here as well is the glass is marked up 1978, whereas my cocktail table is marked up at 1979, which probably explains why mine has a colour monitor in, as opposed to this one being an earlier model which has a black and white monitor in. But if you look there, those colour bands do give certainly an effective colour. And that's it. It's in exceptional condition. Mine doesn't have the original control panels either. So very nice. Off to a new home. Not mine, I'm afraid. It's off to somebody to enjoy. Alien Invasion Part 2. I don't know if there ever was an Alien Invasion Part 1. Very nice.